Have you ever stepped onto a cool floor and felt your mind become quieter for a moment? The floor is not performing magic. It is not healing every problem, but something real has happened. Your attention has moved away from mental noise and toward a clear physical sensation. Some people say cold floors calm the body in the same way meditation does. That is not exactly true. Meditation and cool surfaces are different experiences, but they may share one useful outcome. Both can interrupt the endless stream of thoughts and bring attention back to the present moment. Ask the simple question: what information reaches your brain when your bare feet touch the floor? There is pressure, there is texture, there is temperature, there is balance. The brain receives a sudden package of sensory data and briefly has something concrete to process. Your feet are not passive blocks at the bottom of your body. They contain sensory receptors that help detect touch, pressure, position, and temperature. When the surface beneath you changes, your nervous system notices. Your brain constantly updates its map of where you're standing. A cool floor creates a temperature contrast. Your skin was warmer. The floor is cooler. Temperature receptors detect the difference and send information through sensory nerves. That signal does not automatically create peace, but it can become difficult for the brain to ignore. Imagine that your attention is a limited budget. When your mind is trapped in worry, it spends almost everything on imaginary problems. A noticeable sensation under your feet demands part of that budget. For a brief moment, the brain moves from the story in your head to the surface beneath you. This is one reason people use the word grounding. Grounding does not need to mean invisible energy entering the body. It can simply mean orienting your attention towards something immediate: the floor, your breath, the chair beneath you, or the sounds in a room. Stress often drags attention into the past or the future. What went wrong? What might happen next? A cool surface asks a simpler question: what do your feet feel right now? That question is small, but it can interrupt a much larger loop. Be careful with dramatic explanations. A cold floor is not a guaranteed vagus nerve reset. It is not a medical treatment. It is not proof that your nervous system has been repaired. The body is more complicated than one switch and one viral claim. Cold exposure can cause blood vessels near the skin to narrow. This helps conserve heat. Your body may treat cold as a challenge, not a relaxation command. That is why the word calming should describe a personal experience, not a universal biological rule. Research has explored cooling the face to influence short-term stress responses. But your feet are not your face. A cool tile is not a laboratory protocol. A mild floor sensation may help anchor attention, but we should not pretend that every type of cold exposure produces the same response. Meditation usually trains attention. Thoughts appear. You notice them. Then you return to the breath, the body, or another anchor. Over time, the practice becomes less about escaping thoughts and more about learning not to chase every thought that arrives. The floor and meditation are not identical, but the shared principle is simple. Both can invite your attention to return. One uses a noticeable physical sensation. The other uses deliberate awareness. The useful part is not the object. The useful part is a return. Modern stress often has no obvious ending. A predator leaves. A deadline does not. Notifications continue. Messages arrive. The mind keeps rehearsing problems, even when the body is standing safely in a room. The alarm remains active because the story never stops. When a new sensation appears, attention naturally shifts toward it. The brain asks, what changed? Is this important? A cool floor can create that brief pause. The pause may be small, but small interruptions can matter when your mind has been running in circles. You do not need pain. You do not need numbness. You do not need an ice bath. The goal is not to shock the body into submission. A mild, safe sensation is enough. When discomfort becomes severe, the experiment has stopped being useful. Try a simple reset. Notice the temperature under your feet. Notice the pressure beneath your toes. Feel the air touching your skin. Identify one sound in the room. Slow your breathing. You are not trying to force calmness. You are giving attention somewhere stable to land. The floor can anchor attention. Your breathing can shape the next step. A slower breath, especially a comfortable longer exhale, can help reduce the frantic pace of the moment. Do not turn breathing into a performance. Let it become quieter rather than more complicated. Think of the exhale as a landing. The body has been flying through emails, conversations, and unfinished tasks. A gentle exhale is a small signal that the current second does not require a sprint. You are not solving every problem. You are lowering the speed. Thoughts can become complicated. The floor is uncomplicated. It does not ask you to answer an email. It does not predict tomorrow. It does not argue with you. It gives the brain one simple fact. You're standing here, and this is what the surface feels like. You do not need bare feet for every grounding exercise. Socks, shoes, or slippers can still provide pressure and contact. The goal is awareness, not a ritual. If barefoot contact is unsafe or uncomfortable, use another anchor, your hands, breath, chair, or surroundings. Place both feet on the floor while sitting. Notice the points of contact. Let your hands rest on your legs. Name 3 sensations without judging them. Warmth, pressure, texture, then breathe slowly. The technique is ordinary because ordinary actions are easier to repeat. Walk slowly for a few steps. Notice how the heel touches the surface. Notice how weight moves across the foot. Notice the toes leaving the floor. The aim is not to reach a destination quickly. The aim is to remember that your body exists outside the screen. Long periods of scrolling can make attention narrow. Your eyes remain fixed. Your posture barely changes. Your mind jumps from one stimulus to another. A brief sensory reset can reverse the direction, away from the feed and back toward the physical environment. Your nervous system is not an app with a reset button. It is a living network that learns from repeated signals. One cool floor moment may help, but it cannot replace sleep, movement, daylight, boundaries, meaningful rest, and professional care when needed. A single pause is useful. A pattern is stronger. Stand up between tasks. Notice your feet. Take a short walk. Slow your breathing. Step away from unnecessary alerts. Small pauses teach the body that not every moment is an emergency. Meditation asks you to notice and return. Sensory grounding asks you to notice and return. That is the honest connection. The tools differ, but the skill overlaps. Attention wanders. You notice. You return to something stable. Then you repeat. You do not need to claim that a tile floor is pulling toxins from the body or sending magical energy into your feet. The explanation can remain simple. Temperature, pressure, attention, breathing, and context are enough to make the experience interesting. Do not assume that colder is better. A mildly cool surface may feel refreshing. A painfully cold surface can create stress, numbness, or discomfort. Health advice becomes unreliable when a useful idea is turned into an endurance competition. Pay attention to warning signs. Do not experiment with cold surfaces if your feet become painful, numb, discolored, or injured. Your body is not failing when it tells you to stop. Listening to discomfort is part of the practice. People with diabetes or reduced sensation in the feet should be especially careful. Barefoot walking may not be appropriate, even indoors. A grounding technique should never create a preventable foot injury. Choose a safer sensory anchor and follow medical guidance. Cold exposure is also not ideal for everyone. In Raynaud's phenomenon, cold temperatures can narrow blood vessels in the fingers and toes and restrict blood flow. If cold causes color changes, numbness, or pain, warmth is the better choice. Use a simple 4-step reset. First, notice where your feet meet the ground. Second, breathe more slowly. Third, look around the room and name what you see. Fourth, take a short walk if practical. Nothing dramatic is required. Try this for 60 seconds. Stand or sit safely. Notice the floor. Feel the pressure beneath your feet. Let your shoulders drop. Take a slow breath in and a comfortable breath out. Look around. Remind yourself, at this moment, I am here. During a stressful workday, attach the reset to something you already do. After sending an email, stand up. After a meeting, walk briefly. Before opening another app, notice your breathing. A technique survives when it fits inside real life. At night, reduce the volume of the environment. Put the phone away for a moment. Dim unnecessary light. Place your feet on the floor or a comfortable mat. Breathe slowly. Let the body notice that the day is beginning to close. A sensory reset is a coping tool, not a cure for every problem. Persistent anxiety, panic, severe distress, trauma-related symptoms, or difficulty functioning deserve qualified support. Asking for help is not a failure of self-regulation. It is a practical response. Here is a Feynman test. Can you explain the idea in one sentence? Try this. A cool floor may feel calming because a clear physical sensation can pull attention out of mental noise and back into the present moment. The floor is not medicine. The temperature is not magic. The useful lesson is attention. Feel the surface. Notice the sensation. Return to the room. Slow the breath. Let the body receive evidence that this moment is not the same as the emergency inside your thoughts. Cold floors do not replace meditation, but they can remind you of the same basic skill. Come back to what is real, simple, and present. Feel your feet. Notice the ground. Slow your breathing. Because sometimes the first step out of mental noise is remembering where you are standing.